Hello and welcome to our day 3 recap of the World's RLCS event in Lyon, France. A pretty exciting day, a lot of good matches. Obviously, tons of spoilers are going to be happening this episode, so if you want to watch the matches yourself, please watch them before we talk about them. So today was lower bracket day. As you can remember, on day 2, we had the upper qualifications where Ultimates, Wildcard, Falcons, and NRG all qualified through in the group stage. And then we had the lower brackets today. So if I just go through Group A first, it was Virtus Pro versus GK. I was actually a little bit surprised that Virtus Pro got a game off of GK. But I was proud of that squad. I'm sure they wish they had done better and won. But honestly, for them, I think going up and making it this far is really good progress for them. So I think they definitely have something to be proud of and something to take and keep working on. And the APAC region should be proud of their team that they sent. But yeah, not too competitive of a match. As you can see, there was even a 7-2 game in here. But then there was 2 overtimes. So, GK, they were coming out and they were doing all right. Then the other lower bracket quarterfinal was Rock versus Furia. This one was a little bit of a disappointing showing from Rock, in my opinion. Obviously, there was a lot of hype around them going through the play-ins. They then got swept by Dignitas and Furia, so not the easiest teams once they got into the group stage, but they didn't take a game, so not too good in front of the crowd. And hopefully good experience for this team. I'm sure we might see some of this Rock team. I don't know if they're going to stick for next year or if maybe some of them switch around and potentially 1 or 2 of them gets moved over to Twisted Minds potentially. I don't know. Could be interesting. But Furia came out, won pretty decisively across the board, especially that last game with a 4-0 win. So then in the lower bracket semifinals, that means GK went through. Now GK has beaten Dignitas like 5 or 6 times this season, I think was the record. I could be wrong about that. I saw it in the comments from yesterday. So I was kind of hoping Dignitas would have a bounce back, and they actually did pretty well in this series on the second half of the series. As you can see, there was 3 overtimes. It went to game 5. GK went up 2 games right away. Dignitas took them a little bit to get warmed up. They won game 3 and 4, and then game 5 went to overtime, and GK got the win on a kickoff goal. So kind of a tough match for Dignitas. I know they wish they would have done better. I know I had them further in my own predictions. I think I might have even had them going top 6 or top 4. So disappointing for them, but they showed a lot of talent this year, and I think all 3 of these players, we're going to see more from them in RLCS next season after they got eliminated today. Carmine Corp swept Furia in the other lower bracket semifinal of Group A. Honestly, this was a great match. Furia honestly played, I think, the best of the whole tournament. They played in this match against Carmine Corp. They just had a couple things that didn't break their way. As you can see, they lost 2 overtimes. And I think there was probably a couple moments where they probably should have won one of these games against K-Corp. They were all 1-goal games. So honestly, I thought Furia played well, better than I was anticipating them to play. So that means Carmine Corp and GK qualify through. Furia gets sent back to Sam. Unfortunately for them, we did not see them go through. There's been history between Yan and Vatira, as you might know if you go back a couple years. So Vatira got the better of Yan this time around, and it'll be interesting to see what Furia does with their org and their roster and their coach in this offseason, since they dominated their region but weren't able to really translate it to land success at the 3 events. Group B, the lowers. First, we had a little NA match, Gen G versus Space Station Gaming. Space Station Gaming, honestly, for some reason in my mind, I'm a little bit surprised looking at this scoreline because it felt like there was more goals during this, but actually it looks like every game had 2 or 1 goals. So it wasn't as high scoring as what I'm remembering. And it's also kind of unusual. SSG, usually you see like 3-5 goals scored in a game, kind of glass cannon style. So SSG did get the better of Gen G. What do you guys think? Is this the last season Justin's going to be playing? Do you think he's going to retire? Do you think they try to run it back? Do you expect Gen G to keep this roster or switch things up, potentially with any of the players? Let me know your thoughts there. But SSG came out and played well. In the other lower bracket quarterfinals, Ninjas and Pajamas reverse swept Twisted Minds, which is a good result for them. Twisted Minds came out looking pretty good, honestly. I thought all three of the players played well. Maybe a couple little mistakes here and there from Twisted Minds in the later games here. And then Ninjas and Pajamas got rolling in games 3, 4, and then obviously 1-goal game, game 5. So pretty close series. I think Twisted Minds is still a very talented roster. Weren't able to secure the win and got reverse swept today, which I'm sure is a pretty heartbreaking result. Nobu is in the 1v1 match, which I'm pretty sure is tomorrow. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's on Saturday. I'd have to double check that. Then in the lower, and sorry, one last thing on this. Do you guys think the Twisted Minds roster is going to stick? For me, probably not. If they don't go top 4, I think they're going to keep Nobu and build around him. Honestly, if you're going to keep one of the others, I'd probably keep Rise over Atomic. I think Atomic's really good. Honestly, I feel like Atomic, Stizzy, and another Spanish player could be a really fun roster. Like maybe Reese, RXII. Like that could be a cool roster to represent a Spanish org, in my opinion. Anyways, lower bracket semifinal. Space Station beat Gen G, advances through, beats Team Secret. I would say they looked pretty good doing it. I don't remember them all being 1-goal games, but that's actually what it was. Team Secret came out and played better Team Rocket League, I'd say. But then SSG was able to skill diff them later on in the series and played really well to earn their spot in the top 8. Ninjas in Pajamas beat Twisted Minds. They then went on to beat Team Vitality, which is probably the biggest upset of the day, wouldn't you say? Let me know if you guys think differently, like if you think Space Station upsetting Team Secret is a bigger upset. But I think NIP beating Vitality is probably the one that we're going to point to and say that was the most exciting match. And if you're NA fan or someone who's kind of preying on EU's downfall, this was a pretty good day, all things considered, just to get one of the orgs eliminated. But as you can see, all the EU orgs were in the lowers, and 3 of them qualified through. Of course, Vitality, I'm sure the fans that are there in Lyon, France wanted to see Vitality on Saturday and Sunday, but they weren't able to make it work. It seemed like they just didn't have a lot of offensive firepower. You can see the score lines pretty low, 0-1, 1-2. They weren't really able to find themselves. Maybe in a best of 7, they're able to work their way back through it, but I think this is one of those rosters you definitely expect to change. Put together a super team. Super team arguably didn't have great chemistry. Maybe there was coaching things. I don't know. So this Vitality roster, they're going to rebuild around Zen almost assuredly. And it'll be interesting to see what Exotic and Monkey Moon are up to next. But if you're an NRG fan, you breathe the sigh of relief when Vitality got eliminated, because Vitality has been the kryptonite to NRG's Superman performances. And so, you got to respect the team that beat the team that can beat you, right? But I think NRG beat Ninjas and Pajamas, so if they get a best of 7 later off in the playoffs, they're going to feel good about that because they already beat them in a best of 5, even though it was a game 5 overtime win. So really quick, let's look at the playoffs for Saturday. And going from the bottom up, Space Station GK, this could be interesting. It's kind of like very strong offense of Space Station and physical play versus GK. Pretty strong defense. Archie was really playing amazing today. To me, he might be the MVP of all the matches I watched. He played great. He came alive during their series. So I'd probably give a slight lean towards GK beating Space Station here. But I'm not shocked. I would say I would give GK like a 70% chance of winning. You guys let me know what you think. Do you expect SSG to win? Am I wrong? You let me know. Carmine Corps versus Ninjas in Pajamas. I do expect Carmine Corps to take care of Ninjas in Pajamas. I'd also give that like a 70 or 80% success rate in my book. Not ridiculous to think Ninjas in Pajamas would beat Carmine Corps, but Carmine Corps is very good at winning best of sevens. I think Farah is arguably the best coach in RLCS right now, and he does really well in best of seven series to adjust, and this team, is not one to take lightly. They're still probably one of the top two favorites between them and Falcons. Upper brackets, then you've got Falcons wildcard. Wildcard hasn't dropped a game yet, so I've been seeing some funny comments online, but I'm going to have to say Falcons win this probably 85 or 90% of the time, unless wildcard comes out and just proves us all wrong. But you guys let me know if you think differently. And then last but not least, the NA matchup, Ultimates versus NRG. I'm going to give this to Ultimates, but I'm going to cut it like 55-45. 55% chance Ultimates win, 45% chance NRG wins in this matchup. I do think they both know each other very well. They both are going to be confident that they can win. Ultimates was looking better yesterday during the games than NRG was, even though both teams won both of their best of 5 matchups. So I'm leaning towards saying Ultimates are going to win and qualify through into the semifinals. You guys let me know your thoughts on all these predictions and your favorite moments from today. So that is it. This was day 3 of Worlds. I am actually, unfortunately, going to be away from my recording setup tomorrow, so I will not be able to record a day 4 recap. So you just watch the games, I guess, is what I'd say. Obviously, most people are already doing that, but I'll be watching the games just on my phone. I won't be able to record a video, unfortunately. So if you're looking for the day 4 recap, I'm sorry, that's not going to be coming. But I am planning on doing a Worlds recap on Sunday afternoon here in NA. Obviously, it'll be evening time after the event is over in EU. So thank you guys so much for the support. Really appreciate everyone. Let me know your thoughts on how the matches today went, as well as your predictions for tomorrow. Do you still have Falcons as your favorite, as most people do? Do you like Ultimates, NRG, Carmine Corps? I mean, there's a lot of quality teams in here. Wildcard's the only one with a question mark, but they also probably have the best record of the teams in this playoff bracket. So who knows? Maybe we'll see something amazing from OCE. Anyways, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk soon. Bye.